Hello, and thank you for joining me for the first in a series of videos about future technology. Today, we're going to talk about humanity and its technological future, which is a vast subject, so brace yourself for a glimpse into the future. To begin this series of videos, we will look at artificial neurons that are being placed on silicon chips. The future and technology have gone hand in hand even before we had the first computer. Humanity always has had a desire to see what the future holds and the kind of technologies that will emerge. Let's go back in time to when I was a youngster, about 1980. What a long time ago. That's when I got my first Nintendo, and I couldn't believe that technology like this existed because it was cutting edge at the time. Also, I remember watching the original Star Trek and Star Trek Next Generation and thinking to myself how amazing all this technology that they used had been. I mean, they were scanning human bios in a sick bay, communicating through portable devices, whether it be on their shirts or flipped. The ships were automated. Today, when I look back at these programs, such as the original Star Trek, which used a flip communicator, which was a prediction for the flip cellular phone. They used automation systems like we're using today in our homes to turn the lights on, open doors, set up security. And additionally, even on Star Trek The Next Generation, there was a character. His name was Data. He was an android who used a neural net that was a network of neurons and computer chips that were all placed together to simulate a human brain to give him human-like life. Nowadays, we carry portable phones in our pockets and we use voice assistants to help us automate every aspect of our life. As the future progresses, technology has even made greater strides, such as using artificial neurons with silicone chips. Crazy, right? So what exactly is a neuron then? A neuron uses electrical signals to send and receive messages that our brain then sends to our body, which allows us to do anything that we're doing every day, our whole body movements. For example, our motor control, which it could be either voluntary or involuntary. Those movements are controlled with neurons. Also, we have neurons that are controlling the senses that we use every day, the taste, smell, seeing, hearing, things that we kind of take for granted probably. When we look at what a silicon chip is, it is just a collection of miniature circuits that are placed on a little piece of silicone that contains up to 10 million transistors just on one single chip that forms the process by allowing those electrical signals to be formed. If you know anything about the human brain, or even if you don't, our brain operates by firing off electrical signals between these neurons. So that sends and receives the instructions that tells our body what to do. Therefore, these silicon chips are essentially doing the same thing as a biological neuron. Biological neurons, though, they cannot regenerate. Once these neurons are gone, there is no turning back. Neurological disorders are caused by these type of missing neurons, making this type of technology useful for individuals with neurological disorders, including like epilepsy or dementia, Parkinson's, and cerebral palsy. I mentioned cerebral palsy because it's a condition that I'm familiar with. My mother, who was born with it, which is how I grew up seeing my mother who need to use crutches or a wheelchair just to move around every day. If this type of technology had been available at the time, she could have used it to avoid all the challenges that she had to deal with her whole life, thereby increasing her quality of life. And isn't that what our species always hopes for? this new technology is a significant step in that direction.